Hello, my name is Diane. This is Diane's Treasure Studio, where I read gaming content not available on Audible. So gather around, friends, to hear Free Reading 2024, Chapter 7, Spells Descriptions Protection to R+. Protection from evil and good. Level 1. Abjuration, Cleric, Druid, Paladin, Warlock, Wizard. Casting time, action, range, touch components, VSM. A flask of holy water worth 25 plus gold pieces, which this spell consumes. Duration, concentration, up to 10 minutes. Until the spell ends, one willing creature you touch is protected against creatures that are aberrations, celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, or undead. The protection grants several benefits. Creatures of those types have disadvantage on attack rolls against the target. The target also can't be possessed by or gain the charmed, frightened conditions from them. If the target is already possessed, charmed, or frightened by such creature, the target has the advantage on any new saving throws against the relevant effect. Moving on to protection from poison. Level 2 Abjuration, Cleric, Druid, Paladin, Ranger. Protection from poison. Level 2 Abjuration, Cleric, Druid, Paladin, Ranger. Casting time, action. Range, touch components, VS. Duration 1 hour. You touch a creature and end the poison condition on it for the duration. The target has advantage on saving throws to avoid or end the poison condition, and it has resistance to poison damage. Purify, water and drink. Level 1 Transmutation, Cleric, Druid, Paladin. Casting time, action, or ritual. Range 10 feet, components, VS, duration, instantaneous. You remove poison and rot from non-magical food and drink in a 5-foot radius sphere centered on a point within range. Our spells. Raise Debt. Level 5 Necromancy, Bard, Cleric, Paladin. Casting time, 1 hour. Range, touch. Components, VSM, a diamond worth 500 plus gold pieces, which the spell consumes. Duration, instantaneous. With a touch, you revive a dead creature if it has been dead no longer than 10 days, and it wasn't undead when it died. The creature returns to life with 1 hit point. The spell also neutralizes any poisons that affected the creature at the time of death. This spell closes all mortal wounds, but it doesn't restore missing body parts. If the creature is lacking body parts or organs integral for its survival, its head, for instance, the spell automatically fails. Coming back from the dead is an ordeal. The target takes a -4 penalty to D20 test. Every time the target finishes a long rest, the penalty is reduced by 1 until it becomes 0. Rary's Telepathic Bond. I hope I'm saying that right. Level 5 Divination, Bard, Wizard. Casting time, action, or ritual. Range 30 feet. Components VSM 2 eggs. Duration 1 hour. You forge a telepathic link amongst up to 8 willing creatures, your choice, within range, physically linking each creature to all the others for the duration. Creatures that can't communicate in any language aren't affected by this spell. Until the spell ends, the targets can communicate telepathically through the bond whether or not they share the language. The communication is possible over any distance, though it can't extend to other planes of existence. Moving on to Ray of Enfeeblement, level 2, Necromancy, Warlock, Wizard. Casting time, action, range 60 feet, components vs. duration, concentration up to 1 minute. A beam of evervating energy shoots from you towards a creature within range. The target must make a Constitution saving throw. On a successful save, the target has disadvantage on the next attack rolls it makes until the start of your next turn. On a failed save, the target has disadvantage on strength-based D20 tests for the duration. During that time, it also subtracts 1d8 from all damage rolls. The target repeats the save at the end of each of its turns, ending the spell on a success. Ray of Frost, evocation, cantrip, sorcerer, wizard. Casting time, action, range 60 feet, components vs. duration instantaneous. A frigid beam of blue-white light streaks towards a creature within range. Make a ranged spell attack against the target. On a hit, it takes 1d8 cold damage, and its speed is reduced by 10 until the start of your next turn. Cantrip upgrade. The damage increases by 1d8 when you reach levels 5, 2d8, 11, 3d8, and 17, 4d8. Ray of Sickness, level 1, Necromancy, Sorcerer, Wizard. Casting time, action, range 60 feet, components vs. duration instantaneous. You shoot a greenish ray at a creature within range. Let me repeat that. You shoot a greenish ray at a creature within range. Make a ranged spell attack against that target. On a hit, the target takes 2d8 poison damage and has the poison condition until the end of your next turn. Using a higher level spell slot, the damage increases by 1d8 for each spell slot level above 1. Regeneration, level 7, transmutation, bard, cleric, druid. Casting time, 1 minute. Range, touch, components, VSM, a prayer wheel. Duration, 1 hour. A creature you touch regains 48 plus 15 hit points. For the duration, the target regains 1 hit point at the start of each of its turns, and any severe body parts regrow after 2 minutes. Reincarnate, level 5, Necromancy, Druid. Casting time, 1 hour. Range, touch, components, VSM, rare oils worth 1,000 gold pieces, which the spell consumes. Duration, instantaneous. You touch a dead humanoid or a piece of one. If the creature has been dead no longer than 10 days, the spell forms a new body for it and calls the soul to enter that body. Roll a 1d10 and consult the table below to determine the body's species, or the DM chooses another playable species. 1. Aasimar. 2. Dragonborn. 3. Dwarf. 4. Elf. 5. Gnome. 6. Goliath. 7. Halfling. 8. Human. 9. Orc. 10. Tiefling. The reincarnated creature makes any choices that a species description offers, and the creature recalls its former life. It retains the capabilities it had in its original form, except it loses the traits of its previous species and gains the traits of its new one. Remove curse. Level 3, Abjuration, Cleric, Paladin, Warlock, Wizard. Casting time, action, range, touch, components, VS, duration, instantaneous. At your touch, all curses affecting one creature or object end. If the object is a cursed magical item, its curse remains, but the spell breaks its owner's attunement to the object so that it can be removed or discarded. Resistance, Abjuration, Cantrip, Cleric, Druid. Casting time, action, range, touch, components, VS, duration, concentration up to 1 minute. You touch a willing creature or choose a damage type: acid, bludgeoning, cold, fire, lightning, necrotic, piercing, poison, radiant, slashing, or thunder. When the creature takes damage of the chosen type before the spell ends, the creature reduces the total damage taken by 1d4. A creature can benefit from this spell only once per turn. Resurrection, level 7 necromancy, bard, cleric. Casting time, 1 hour. Range, touch, components, VSM, a diamond worth 1,000 plus gold pieces, which the spell consumes. Duration, instantaneous. With a touch, you revive a dead creature that has been dead for no more than a century, didn't die of old age, and wasn't undead when it died. The creature returns to life with all its hit points. This spell also neutralizes any poisons that affected the creature at the time of death. The spell closes mortal wounds and restores any missing body parts. Oh, cool. Coming back from dead is an ordeal. The target takes a -4 penalty D-test. Every time the target finishes a long rest, the penalty is reduced by 1 until it becomes 0. Casting time. Casting this spell to revive a creature that has been dead for 365 days or longer taxes you. Until you finish a long rest, you can't cast spells again, and you have the disadvantage on D20 tests. Reverse gravity, level 7, transmutation, druid, sorcerer, wizard. Casting time, action. Range, 100 feet, components, VSM, a lodestone, and iron fillings. Duration, concentration up to 1 minute. This spell reverses gravity. In a 50-foot radius, 100-foot high cylinder centered on a point within range. All creatures and objects in that area that aren't anchored to the ground fall upwards and reach the top of the cylinder. A creature can make a dexterity saving throw to grab a fixed object it can reach, thus avoiding to fall upwards. If the ceiling or an anchored object is encountered at this upward fall, the creatures and objects strike it just as they would during a downward fall. If an affected creature or object reaches the cylinder's top without striking anything, it hovers there for the duration. When the spell ends, affected objects and creatures fall downwards. Moving on to Revivify, level 3 in Necromancy, Cleric, Druid, Paladin, Ranger. Casting time, action, range, touch, components, VSM, a diamond worth 300 plus gold pieces, which the spell consumes. Duration, instantaneous. You touch a creature that has died within the last minute. That creature revives with 1 hit point. This spell can't revivify a creature that has died of old age, or does it restore any missing body parts. Rope trick, level 2, transmutation, wizard. Casting time, action, range, touch, components, VSM, a segment of rope, duration 1 hour. You touch a rope. One end of it hovers upward until the rope hangs perpendicular to the ground or the rope reaches a ceiling. At the rope's upper end, an invisible 3-foot by 5-foot portal opens to an extra-dimensional space that lasts until the spell ends. The spell can be reached by climbing the rope, which can be pulled into or dropped out of it. Okay. The space can hold up to 8 minimum size or larger creatures. Attacks, spells, and other effects can't pass into or out of the space, but creatures inside it can see through the portal. Anything inside the space drops out of it when the spell ends. That ends that. So we're now beginning with spells S. And the first runner-up is Sacred Flame. Evocation, cantrip, clerics. Casting time, action, range 60 feet, components vs duration instantaneous. Flame-like radiance descends on a creature that you can see within range. The target must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take 1d8 radiant damage. The target gains no benefit from half cover or three-quarters cover for this save. Cantrip upgrade. The damage increases by 1d8 when you reach levels 5, 2d8, 11, 3d8, and 17, 4d8. Moving on to Sanctuary, level 1, Abjuration, Clerics. Casting time, action, range 30 feet. Components, VSM, a shard of glass from a mirror. Duration, 1 minute. You ward a creature within range. Until the spell ends, any creature who targets the warded creature with an attack roll or a damaging spell must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or either choose a new target or lose the attack or spell. The spell doesn't protect the warded creature from mass area effects. From areas of effect. This spell ends if the warded creature makes an attack roll, cast a spell, or deals damage. Scorching Ray, level 2, evocation, sorcerer, wizard. Casting time, action, range 120 feet, components VS, duration instantaneous. You hurl 3 fiery rays. You can hurl them at one target within range or at several. Make a ranged spell attack for each ray. On a hit, the target takes 2d6 fire damage. Using higher level spell slot, the creature, you create 1 additional ray for each spell level above 2. Scrying, level 5, divination. Bard, cleric, druid, warlock, wizard. Casting time, 10 minutes. Range self components, VSM. A focus worth 1,000 plus gold pieces, such as a crystal ball, mirror, or other water-filled font. Duration, concentration up to 10 minutes. You can see and hear a creature you choose that is on the same plane of existence as you. The target makes a wisdom saving throw, which is modified, see the tables below, by how well you know the target and the sort of physical connection you have with it. The target doesn't know what it's making the save against, only that it feels uneasy. Knowledge of the target is secondhand, heard of the target. Your save modifier is a +5. First hand, you've met the target. You have no modifiers. Extensive knowledge of the target, -5. You have the target's picture or other likeness, modifier, -2. Garnet or other possession, -4. Body part or lock of hair or bit of nail, -10. On a successful save, the target isn't affected, and you can't use the spell again for the next 24 hours. On a failed save, the spell creates an invisible, intangible sensor within 10 feet of the target. You see and hear through the sensor as if you were there. The sensor moves with the target, remaining within 10 feet of it for the duration. If something can see the sensor, it appears as an luminous orb about the size of your fist. It could be big or small. Instead of targeting a creature, you can target a location you have seen. When you do so, the sensor appears at that location and doesn't move. Moving on to Searing Smite, level 1 evocation paladin. Searing Smite, 1 level evocation paladin, casting time, bonus action, which you take immediately after hitting a target with a melee weapon or an unarmed strike. Range self components V duration 1 minute. As you hit the target, it takes an extra 1d6 fire damage from the attack. At the start of each of its turns until the spell ends, the target takes 1d6 fire damage and then makes a Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, the spell continues. On a successful save, the spell ends. Using a higher level spell slot, all the damage increases by 1d6 for each spell level above 1. Moving on to C, invisibility. Level 2, divination, bard, sorcerer, wizard. Casting time, action, range, self, components, VSM, a pinch of talc. Duration, 1 hour. For the duration, you see creatures and objects that have the invisibility condition as if they were visible. And you can see the ethereal plane. Creatures and objects there appear ghostly. Seeming. Level 5, illusion. Bard, sorcerer, wizard. Casting time, action, range, 30 feet. Components, VS, duration 8 hours. You give an illusionary appearance to each creature of your choice that you can see within range. An unwilling target can make a charisma saving throw, and if it succeeds, it is unaffected by the spell. You can give the same appearance or different ones to the targets. The spell can change the appearance of the target's bodies and equipment. You can make each creature seem 1 foot shorter or 1 foot taller and appear heavier or lighter. The target's new appearance must be the same basic arrangement of limbs as the target, but the extent of the illusion is otherwise up to you. The spell lasts for the duration. The changes wrought on by the spell fail to hold up to physical inspection. For example, if you use a spell to add a hat to a creature's outfit, objects pass through the hat. The creature that makes a study action to examine each target makes an intelligence investigation check. Against your spell DC, if it succeeds, it becomes aware that the target is disguised. Sending. Level 3, divination, bard, cleric, wizard. Casting time, action, range, unlimited. Components, VSM, a copper wire. Duration, instantaneous. You send a short message of 25 words or fewer to a creature you have met or a creature described to you by someone who has met it. The target hears the message. In its mind, recognizes you as the sender if it knows you and can answer in a like manner immediately. The spell enables the target to understand the meaning of your message. You can send the message across any distance and even to other planes of existence. But if the target is on a different plane than you, there is a 5% chance that the message doesn't arrive. You know if the delivery fails. Upon receiving your message, a creature can block your ability to reach it again with the spell for 8 hours. If you try to send another message during this time, you learn that you are blocked and the spell fails. Sequester, level 7, transmutation wizard. Casting time, action, range, touch. Components, VSM, gem dust worth 5,000 gold pieces, which this spell consumes. Duration until dispelled. With a touch, you magically sequester an object or a willing creature for the duration. The target has the invisible condition and can't be targeted by divination spells, detect magic, or viewed remotely with magic. If the target is a creature, it enters a state of suspended animation and it has the unconscious condition, doesn't age, and doesn't need food, water, or air. You can set a condition for the spell to end early. The condition can be anything you choose, but it must occur to be must occur or be visible within 1 mile of the target. Examples include after 1,000 years or when the Tarrasque awakens. This spell also ends if the target takes any damage. Shape change, level 9, transmutation, druid, wizard, casting time, action. Range, self components, VSM, a jade circuit worth 1,500 plus gold pieces. Duration, concentration up to 1 hour. You shapeshift into another creature for the duration until you take a magic action to shapeshift into a different eligible form. The new form must be a creature that has the challenge rating no higher than your level or challenge rating. You must have seen the sort of creature before, and it can't be a construct or undead. When you cast the spell, you gain a number of temporary hit points equal to the hit points of the first form into which you shapeshift. These temporary hit points vanish if any remaining when the spell ends. Your game statistics are replaced by the stat block of the chosen form, but you retain your creature type, alignment, personality, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma scores, hit points, hit dice, or other proficiencies, and ability to communicate. If you have the spellcasting feature, you retain it too. Upon shapeshifting, you determine whether your equipment drops to the ground or it changes in size and shape to fit the new form or while you're in it. Shatter. Level 2 evocation, bard, sorcerer, wizard. Casting time, action, range 60 feet, components VSM, a chip of Mycena. Duration, instantaneous. A loud noise erupts from a point of your choice within range. Each creature in a 10-foot radius sphere centered there makes a constitution saving throw, taking 3d8 thunder damage on a failed save or half as much damage on a successful one. A construct has disadvantage on the save. A non-magical object that isn't being worn or carried also takes the damage, and if it isn't in the spell's area. Okay, let me repeat that. A non-magical object that isn't being worn or carried also takes the damage if it's in the spell's area. Using a higher level spell slot, the damage increases by 1d8 for each spell slot above 2. Shield. Level 1, Abjuration, Sorcerer, Wizard, Casting Time, Reaction, which you take when you are hit by an attack roll or targeted by a magic missile spell. Range, self, components VS, duration 1 round. An impenetrable barrier of magical force protects you until the start of your next turn. You have a +5 bonus to AC, including against the targeting attacks, and you take no damage from magic missile. Shield of Faith, level 1, Abjuration, Cleric Paladin. Casting time, bonus action, range 60 feet, components VSM, a prayer scroll. Duration, concentration up to 10 minutes, a shimmering field surrounds a creature of your choice within range, granting it a +2 bonus to AC for the duration. Shillelagh, transmutation, cantrip, druid. Casting time, bonus action. Range, self components, VSM, mistletoe. Duration, 1 minute. A club or quarterstaff you are holding is imbued with nature's power. For the duration, you can use your spellcasting ability instead of strength for the attack and damage rolls of melee attacks using that weapon, and the weapon's damage die becomes a 1d8 for the attack deals damage. It can be force damage for the weapon's normal damage type, your choice. The spell ends early if you cast it again or if you let go of the weapon. Cantrip upgrade. The damage die changes when you reach levels 5, d10, 11, d12, and 17, 2d6. Shining Smite. Level 2, Transmutation Paladin. Casting time, bonus action. When you take immediately after hitting a creature with a melee weapon or an unarmed strike. Range, self components, V. Duration, concentration, up to 1 minute. The target hit by the strike takes an extra 2d6 radiant damage from the attack. Until the spell ends, the target sheds bright light in a 5-foot radius. Attack rolls against it has advantage. And it can't benefit from the invisible condition. Using a higher level spell slot, the damage increases by 1d6 for each spell slot above 2. Shocking Grasp. Evocation, cantrip, sorcerer, wizard. Casting time, action, range, touch, components, vs. Duration, instantaneous. Lightning springs from you to a creature that you try to touch. Make a melee spell attack against the target. On a hit, the target takes 1d8 lightning damage and can't make opportunity attacks until the start of its next turn. Cantrip upgrade. The damage increases by 1d8 when you reach levels 5, 2d8, 11, 3d8, and 17, 4d8. Silence. Level 2, Illusion, Bard, Cleric, Ranger. Level 2, Illusion, Bard, Cleric, Ranger. Casting time, action, or ritual. Range, 120 feet. Components, vs. Duration, concentration, up to 10 minutes. For the duration, no sound can be created within or pass through the 20-foot radius sphere centered on a point you choose. Within range, any creature or object entirely inside the sphere has immunity to thunder damage, and creatures have the deafened condition while entirely inside. Casting a spell that includes a verbal component is impossible there. Silent Image. Level 1, Illusion, Bard, Sorcerer, Wizard. Casting time, action, range 60 feet, components VSM, a bit of fleece, duration, concentration up to 10 minutes. You create an image of an object, a creature, or some other visible phenomenon that is no larger than a 15-foot cube. The image appears on the spot within range and lasts for the duration. The image is purely visible. It isn't accompanied by sound, smell, or other sensory effects. As a magic action, you can cause the image to move to any other spot within range. As the image changes location, you can alter its appearance so that its movements appear natural for the image. For example, if you create an image of a creature and move it, you can alter the image so that it appears to be walking. Physical interaction with the image reveals it to be an illusion, since things can pass through it. A creature that takes a study action to examine the image can determine that it is an illusion. With a successful image investigation check against your spell save DC. If a creature discerns the illusion for what it is, the creature can see through the image. Simulacrum. Level 7 Illusion, Wizard. Casting time 12 hours. Range, touch, components VSM. Powdered ruby worth 1,500 plus gold pieces, which the spell consumes. Duration until dispelled. You create a simulacrum of one beast or humanoid that is within 10 feet of you for the entire casting of the spell. You finish the casting by touching both the creature and the pile of ice or snow that is the same size of the creature, and the pile turns into the simulacrum, which is a creature. It uses the game statistics of the original creature at the time of casting, except it is a construct. Its hit points maximum is half as much and can't cast this spell. The simulacrum is friendly to you and creatures you designate. It obeys your command and acts on your turn in combat. The simulacrum can't gain levels and it can't take a short or long rest. If the simulacrum takes damage, the only way to restore its hit points is to repair it as you take a long rest. Let me read that again. If the simulacrum takes damage, the only way to restore its hit points is to repair it as you take a long rest, during which you expend components worth 100 gold pieces per hit points restored. The simulacrum must stay within 5 feet of you for the repair. The simulacrum lasts until it drops to 0 hit points, at which point it reverts to snow and melts away. If you cast the spell again, any simulacrum you create within the spell is instantly destroyed. Sleep, level 1. Enchantment, Bard, Sorcerer, Wizard. Casting time, action, range 60 feet. Components in VSM, a pinch of sand, a rose petal, duration, concentration up to 1 minute. Each creature of your choice in a 5-foot radius sphere centered on the point within range must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or have the incapacitated condition until the end of its next turn, at which point it must repeat the same. If the target falls the second save, the target has the unconscious condition for the duration. The spell ends on a target if it takes damage or if someone within 5 feet of it takes an action to shake it out of the spell's effect. Creatures that don't sleep, such as elves, or that have the immunity to the exhaustion condition, automatically succeed on the saves against this spell. That's it for now. Whew, that's an undertaking. But if I'm helping just one person, thank you for your likes and subscription. I trust that you find this useful for whatever your reasons, purposes. Please share with those that can utilize it. Until next time, bye.